Hey there, Ganesh here. How are you all? I'm back with another interesting topic today, types of customer expectations. So in this video, I will share three key customer expectations. So stay tuned and learn how we can impress customer or meet their customer expectations. Now, moving on, first and foremost thing, imagine delivering a project on time and budget. Yeah, sounds good. But end of the day, your client says it is not what we expected. How many of you are experiencing this? It sounds familiar, right? Misaligning expectations are one of the biggest reasons for project failure and customer dissatisfaction. Remember this. Let's uncover some of these aspects, how we can overcome from the challenges, or we will also talk about can we really, have some strategy in order to overcome from the misaligned expectation. First, let's assume that what are the expectations mismatch that we are going to have. First and foremost thing, the number one customer expectation is explicit expectation. Love to have this, right? So clear and documented needs. Customer is very clear. A telecom client requests an application with specific features to support 100,000 users. Very clear, either volume wise and in terms of the timeline, everything. So out of 10, one or two projects probably you'll get explicit customers, and if you are lucky enough, yeah. So explicit expectations reduce ambiguity and streamline your project execution very well, right? But what happens? Only God says. Right? Implicit expectations. This is where exactly most of the problems lies. Unstated but assumed needs. It is very critical that a manufacturing client wanted a seamless data migration but did not specify downtime expectations. What does it mean? You're not asked or you assume things. So what happens? Even after the particular set of time that you put in, the probably the application is down and the customer is under heavy loss. So always probe for updated requirements to avoid surprises. You may assume that in other client it may be 30 minutes, but not necessarily this customer, right? We assume thinking that it works. It may not work here, right? And then going to the third important aspect is aspirational expectation. This is what customer expect, but not now, probably later. So, in a healthcare client aiming for the project to set the foundation for future AI integration. It's not mentioned here. It may be not immediate requirement, but shape how the solution was designed for the later use easily, right? Understanding the long-term vision adds strategic value to your delivery. Remember one thing, the partnering is very important. When you really understand and give value to the customer, this is where exactly you address some of the aspirational expectation you meet. Customer will be delighted and they will be partner with you. Let's move on. Another important few party talk about common pitfalls and solution here. The three common pitfalls that we have is assuming without asking. We talked about that. We cannot assume things. Clarify assumption with written or validation. Okay. Over promising. Do not ever do that. Agreeing to unrealistic timeline to impress. But what cost? Come on, right? Third, inconsistent communication. You are not clearly communicating customer about the project status or neither on the risk. There may be 100 risk. You're trying to cover that risk. At what cost again? So, friends, please understand these are just three elements. If you start adjusting on a day to day basis, definitely you will be able to meet the customer expectation very well. It could be, unstated or aspirational or expected. End of the day, you meet the customer expectation, and that's where exactly we say project is successful. So, it is not just meeting the deadline, it's about meeting their needs if it is stated, unstated. Align your delivery accordingly. I would like to know exactly how many of you really had these unstated requirements. You worked on that, you executed very well. Please share your stories. I would love to hear them, how you overcome from that. DM with me exactly about or call me. So I hope this video is helpful. A small video. I have a mastery class also. Please, if at all anybody interested to know more detail about the customer management, delivery management, a 5 week mastery program is already there. So DM me or let me know exactly. We probably can take it forward. You know, thank you so much for your attention and definitely it is very important we always meet the customer expectation by these three method I mentioned earlier there. Thank you so much for your watching.